What is the difference between objective evidence and subjective evidence in a Social Security disability claim, and why is it important to you if you're applying for disability? I'm Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a Social Security disability attorney. I represent clients in all 50 states, literally from Maine to California. I'm able to do that because disability hearings are now held by telephone or video, not live in most situations, so I can represent people all over the country. Also, please visit me online every Wednesday night at 8:30. I have a live stream where I answer questions live on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. Hope to see you there. I want to talk to you for a few minutes about objective evidence and subjective evidence. And I discussed this in other videos and on the live stream. And it's kind of important to know because I think in the Social Security world, they're very, very focused on objective evidence. Subjective evidence is really given less weight. And the difference really is objective evidence would be something that you can see, you can image. An MRI, a CT, an X-ray, an ultrasound. It will document that a problem exists. You have back pain, you have an MRI, it may show that you've got a herniated disc or you've got spinal stenosis. You have blood clots in your legs, you take an ultrasound, it will show you've got DVT in your lower extremities, for example. You take a pulmonary function test and it will determine that your lung capacity is X percentage of normal. That is an objective test. So if you have symptoms that are consistent with that test, that's going to be very convincing to Social Security. So for example, if you have an MRI that shows a herniated disc or severe spinal stenosis or nerve root compression, something like that, and you're complaining of severe low back pain, radiation into your legs, that is consistent. And a judge is going to look at that and say, well, the pain you're describing is consistent with the objective evidence. It's a lot easier for the judge to then conclude, yes, I believe this person, he or she is disabled. At the same time, if you have objective evidence that shows a mild impairment, let's say a mild disc bulge, but you're complaining of severe low back pain with radiation into your leg and numbness in your foot, that is not consistent. That's going to make it more of an uphill battle because a judge is going to say, well, a mildly bulging disc doesn't normally provide these type of symptoms, therefore there's not a consistency, makes it less likely you're going to win. Then you have what is called subjective evidence. And this would be where you go to the doctor and say, I have severe pain. Fibromyalgia would be a situation like that. Or I have vestibular problems. I have my head is spinning, I have dizziness, I have vertigo. That is more subjective, meaning that there's no real test or no completely reliable accepted test that a doctor can do to confirm that you in fact have vertigo, that you have migraine headaches, or you have fibromyalgia. And so now you've got to depend on a judge believing what you say. And that's not a great place to be in a Social Security disability context. Now, what you can do, and what I tell my clients to do when they have subjective problems that are not really something easily imaged, and this can really apply to mental health cases as well, depression, anxiety, PTSD, you can't image it. It's going to really depend on what the doctor's notes say. I think, first of all, you've got to be consistent in going to the doctor and reporting the symptoms that you're having. Secondly, whatever the doctor is suggesting that you do, if it's medication, if it's talk therapy, if it's some other type of therapy, you need to go through and do that. You need to be fully compliant with that. That shows that you're making a good faith effort to deal with it. A third thing, which can be very, very helpful, would be to keep a diary. If it's a pain condition, keep a diary so that you can document that, a year and a half ago, during some week in March, you were having episodes of severe pain 3 or 4 days a week, and it was triggered by bad weather or triggered by overdoing it or going out to dinner, whatever it may be. If you're having dizziness, you have a diary of that. So now you have a diary showing long-term that you're having this problem day after day, week after week. Get that document into your medical record, give it to your doctor, or submit it as evidence in a disability case. And now you're taking subjective symptoms, things that you're reporting, and making them more objective because it's better documented. And especially if the doctor says, well, based on this diary, this person seems very credible to me. This diary is very consistent. We're trying all these medications. this person's going through a lot of unpleasant side effects of the medications, but still reporting these problems, I believe that they're very real and that this diary accurately represents what this person's going through. That is a way to make subjective complaints a little bit more objective. Another tactic that I use is if there's a third party, and really it's better to be a coworker, a former coworker, supervisor, or even somebody who's not related to you that can talk about what they have observed, that you appear to be in severe pain, or that, you know, when you have a migraine, this is what you do in terms of getting into a dark room with the shades drawn. And it could be a family member, but I think a third party would be better. That's also a way to quantify, if you will, the nature of your problem so that it is not just you're testifying, yes, I have migraines all the time, or I have migraines 3 or 4 times a week. Think how much more convincing it would be if you say I've got migraines 3 or 4 times a week, and that's backed up by a year and a half of a migraine diary. So I think those are some things you can do. But objective evidence in general is going to be more effective in a Social Security disability case. Of course, not every case is going to have those. If you have subjective evidence, do some of the things I'm talking about to make that a little bit more objective. I think another point I would make would be if you've got multiple conditions, some of them are objective, some of them are subjective. You know, you've got back pain and knee pain, you've also got depression and migraine headaches. I would focus, you know, my first thing I'm going to focus on in a disability hearing are going to be the objective problems, and then the other things, the subjective ones, are going to be, they're going to add to the underlying problem that you've got. But objective evidence is a lot more convincing to Social Security disability decision makers and judges, so whenever that's possible, that's the direction you should go. Please visit me online at ssdanswers.com. I've got a secret swooning disability survival kit you can download for free. I've got a place you can ask for a case evaluation. Happy to give you my opinion about your case. Please also visit me online at the YouTube channel and on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page, Ginsberg Law. I live stream. I mentioned this earlier. I live stream every Wednesday night at 8:30 Eastern. I have guests sometimes, and we answer questions about Social Security disability in real time. I'd love to see you there. So I hope this was helpful to you. Again, if I can be of assistance, please let me know. But in the meantime, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, wishing you the best. Thanks a lot.
Hi, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to know more about how to win your Social Security disability case, I'd like to invite you to download my Secrets to Getting Approved Early Survival Kit that I created just for people like you. Currently, I'm making the survival kit available at no cost, and I encourage you to grab your copy now. Some of the topics I cover include, how do I know if I have a case? Is it the right time for me to file my claim? 9 common mistakes that can doom your case. The 3 must-have arguments you use to win your case. And a topic that every disability claimant wants to know, how to avoid trick questions from the judge. If you or a loved one need to win Social Security disability benefits, you'll find the Survival Kit essential reading. Download your Survival Kit right now and at no cost. Just visit ssdanswers.com/survival and sign up. It's that easy. Please act now. And as always, I wish you the best.